This is the English service of Radio Algeria International. It's time for the news.
The President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, has received several messages of condolences and solidarity from brotherly and friendly countries following Friday's tragic bus accident in Boumerdès province that claimed the lives of several citizens. Algeria and 6 other OPEC Plus countries have agreed Sunday to increase their combined oil production by 888,000 barrels per day starting in September, while stressing the importance of closely monitoring developments in the global oil market. At least 8 Palestinians, including 1 woman and 2 children, were killed in airstrikes carried out today by the Israeli occupying army against various parts of the Gaza Strip. Hello and welcome to Radio Algeria International. I'm your host, Mariam Barshi. The President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, has extended his condolences following the death of Abdelhak Ben Boulaid, a presidential appointee to the Council of the Nation and the son of the historic revolutionary leader and martyr Mustafa Ben Boulaid after a long illness. The details with Mohamed Khatil.
In a message, President Tebboune paid tribute to the deceased, saying he had honorably upheld the legacy of his father, remained faithful to his noble heritage, and carried out his parliamentary duties with a deep sense of national responsibility. He extended his sincere condolences to the family, praying that Almighty Allah grant the deceased his mercy, admit him into paradise, and give his loved ones patience and strength. The Speaker of the Council of the Nation, Azzouz Nasri, also expressed his deep sorrow over the passing of Abdelhak Ben Boulaid, describing him as a devoted servant of the nation who remained faithful to the principles and values of the November Revolution. He said Algeria had lost one of the sons of the revolutionary family, noting that the late Abdelhak Ben Boulaid had proudly carried forward the legacy of his father, one of the principal architects of the War of Independence and a key leader of the November 1st, 1954 revolution. He extended his condolences to the deceased's family, relatives, and members of the Council of the Nation, praying that Almighty Allah grant him eternal mercy and comfort his loved ones. National People's Assembly Speaker Khalida Boufdesh also conveyed his sincere condolences to the family of Abdelhak Ben Boulaid, expressing her deep sympathy and praying that Allah grant him his mercy and admit him into his vast paradise.
The President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, has received several messages of condolences and solidarity from brotherly and friendly countries following Friday's tragic bus accident in Boumerdès province that claimed the lives of several citizens. Among them was a telephone call from Mauritanian President Mohamed Ould Cheikh El Ghazouani, who, on his own behalf and on behalf of the Mauritanian people, extended his sincere condolences to President Tebboune, the Algerian people, and the families of the victims, while wishing those injured a speedy recovery. President Tebboune thanked his Mauritanian counterpart for his compassion and solidarity, expressing his gratitude and wishing the brotherly Mauritanian people continued prosperity, stability, and development. Messages of sympathy also poured in from Qatar, Somalia, and Turkey. In separate statements, their foreign ministries expressed their sincere condolences to Algeria, reaffirmed their solidarity with the Algerian people during this difficult time, and wished a swift recovery to those injured. Diplomatic missions accredited to Algeria likewise conveyed their condolences. The embassies of the United States, Germany, China, Belgium, Poland, and Azerbaijan expressed their deep sympathy with the Algerian government and people, offered condolences to the families of the victims, and reaffirmed their solidarity with Algeria in the wake of this tragedy. Several of the missions also wished the injured a speedy recovery, while Azerbaijan's embassy prayed for God's mercy upon the victims. The Minister of the Interior, Local Authorities and Transport, Aissa Ayoud, has conveyed President Abdelmajid Tebboune's condolences to the families of the victims of the tragic road accident in Boumerdès, assuring them of the state's full solidarity and support during this difficult ordeal. Following the funeral ceremony held in Sétif province, Mr. Ayoud met with the victims' families and extended the President's personal condolences, as well as those of the members of the government, reaffirming the state's commitment to stand by them. The minister said the President had sent a ministerial delegation to personally offer condolences to the brave families and expressed the state's solidarity following the deadly Boumerdès bus accident.
رئيس الجمهورية أن نكون حاضرين أنا برفقة السيد وزير الصحة.
The President of the Republic had made sure that a ministerial delegation be present, the Health Ministry and myself, to convey his condolences to all the families of the victims and express compassion following the tragic accident that occurred yesterday in the province of Bumbadas, causing 27 dead and 43 wounded, including some who had already left the hospital and those who are still under medical care.
Acting under the President's instructions, Mr. Sayoud, accompanied by Health Minister Mohamed Sadiq Masoudan, travelled to Sétif province to attend the funeral of several victims in Alma Cemetery. The ministerial delegation joined hundreds of mourners at the burial ceremony held in an atmosphere of solemn reflection. The strong official and public attendance reflected national unity and deep solidarity with the victims' families in the wake of the tragedy. Several victims of Friday morning's deadly bus crash in Bumbadas province, which claimed 27 lives and injured 42 others, were laid to rest and buried in the El Anma cemetery in Sétif province. Earlier in the day, the victims' bodies were transferred from the Elbez Mother and Child Hospital in Sétif to their families and loved ones who paid their final respects before the funerals at El Anma cemetery. The Interior Minister, Local Authorities and Transport Said Sayoud is in Rome, accompanied by a high-level delegation on a working visit to Italy. During this visit, Mr. Sayoud is scheduled to hold talks with his Italian counterpart to discuss a number of issues of mutual interest. And Algeria and 6 other OPEC Plus countries have agreed to increase their oil production by 188,000 barrels per day starting in September, while stressing the importance of closely monitoring the developments in the global oil market. The decision was taken during a ministerial video conference involving the 7 OPEC Plus members that have been implementing voluntary production cuts, namely Algeria, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kazakhstan, Kuwait, Oman and Russia. The State Minister in charge of hydrocarbons, Mohamed Arqab, took part in the meeting. The participating countries agreed to raise their combined output by 188,000 barrels per day in September, completing the gradual unwinding of the voluntary production adjustments introduced in April 2023. Algeria's ambassador to Addis Ababa and acting chairman of the African Union's Council of Peace and Security, Mohamed Khalid, has described Algeria's presidency of the Council for this month as a major responsibility, depicting the country's commitment towards peace and security in conformity with its foreign policy principles conducted by the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune. In a statement made to the news agency Algérie Press Service, APS, he stressed that Algeria's presidency, the second of the like since its election at the Council for Peace and Security in 2025, for the 6th time since the creation of the body in 2003, translates the trust granted to Algeria within the AU. It reflected, he said, the country's constant commitment towards the continent's peace and stability and its attachment to the peaceful settlement of African issues. In this respect, the Algerian diplomat recalled that Algeria had worked out a balanced, ambitious and integrated program of action emphasizing the continent's priorities, notably the consolidation of the African state's security. He reiterated Algeria's confidence that Africa's development, stability and security were part of a collective responsibility that required the efforts of all its children within the spirit of solidarity, unity and integration to meet the aspirations of the continent's peoples for peace and prosperity. And as mentioned earlier in our top stories, at least 8 Palestinians, including 1 woman and 2 children, were killed in an airstrike carried out today by the Israeli occupying army against various parts of the Gaza Strip. According to the news agency WAFA, several others were wounded in the attacks, which targeted notably the southern region of Khan Younis and the refugee camp of Jabalia in the northern part of the enclave. Today's strikes came in the wake of an attack launched by the Israeli army against a strategic stockpile of medicine and medical supplies in Deir el-Balah, in the central part of a Palestinian territory. Medical sources warned that the attack would exacerbate the health and humanitarian conditions in the Gaza Strip on account of the serious lacks of medicine and difficult access to those hospitals still operational in their territory. This came as hundreds of people took to the streets of the Swedish capital Stockholm yesterday to denounce the continued Israeli acts of aggression on Gaza. They called for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza and urged their government to cease all diplomatic and military cooperation with the Israeli occupying authorities. Now to Morocco. The international media reports affirm that the Moroccan authorities have actively encouraged thousands of people to cross the border towards the Spanish town of Ceuta, asserting that Rabat is using illegal migration as a leverage to put pressure on Spain. The British daily The Telegraph assured, on the basis that information provided for by Western intelligence services, that Morocco had facilitated the crossing of 60,000 migrants towards the Spanish town of Ceuta. The media quoted the head of the Contemporary Arab Studies Center in Madrid, Haitham Amira Fernandez, as saying that the crossing of such a major number of people could not have been possible unless the Moroccan authorities were informed in advance and have allowed such a phenomenon to take place. The former US ambassador to the UN, Zalmay Khalilzad, for his part told the newspaper that Morocco had already used migrants as a means of pressure to secure concessions from Madrid. The newspaper recalled that in May 2021, about 8,000 illegal migrants entered Ceuta following a diplomatic dispute between Madrid and Rabat. The World Health Organization has warned that the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo is spreading at an exceptional pace, calling for a major scale-up of the health response. More details in this report by Mohamed Khatel.
The WHO says the current outbreak is now the largest ever recorded in the DRC. Since it was officially declared in May, more than 3,600 confirmed cases and 1,587 deaths have been reported, with a fatality rate of 44%. The outbreak, caused by the Bundibugyo strain, has spread from Ituri province to 5 provinces. There is currently no approved vaccine or specific treatment for this variant. The WHO says transmission remains intense, with a record 567 new cases and 296 deaths reported in a single week. More than 150 healthcare workers have also been impacted, including 44 who have died. The agency warned that insecurity, population displacement, and cross-border movements are hampering efforts to contain the virus and increasing the risk of further regional spread. Although Uganda has declared its Ebola outbreak over, the WHO says the risk of cross-border transmission remains valid.
And at least 14 people were injured after a truck loaded with explosive exploded near a police station in the Colombian city of Cúcuta just days before President-elect Abdelbarro de la Espriella is due to take office. The blast injured 11 police officers and 3 civilians. 2 of the officers are reported to be in critical condition. Authorities say around 15 explosive devices were detonated in the attack, which comes amid the worst wave of violence to hit the Norte de Santander region in a decade. The United Nations condemned what it called an indiscriminate attack, saying it had spread fear among the local population. President-elect de la Espriella is scheduled to be sworn in on August 7th in the city of Cali. Ahead of taking place, he has given criminal groups 1 month to surrender and has vowed to intensify military operations against Colombia's powerful drug cartels. And Greece is battling a series of devastating wildfires as officials warn the country is facing an extremely difficult situation amid powerful winds and extreme weather conditions. More than 12,000 hectares of forests and farmland have been destroyed over the past week, with authorities placing the country on maximum alert at the height of the tourist season. Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis said winds of up to 100 kilometers per hour were fueling the blaze, warning that the scale of intensity of the weather conditions are overwhelming firefighting efforts. One of the worst hit areas is the seaside resort of Porto Germano, northwest of Athens, where dozens of homes have been damaged or destroyed. Experts estimate the fire has scorched more than 10,000 hectares and say it is likely to be classified as a mega fire. With this last piece of news, we come to the end of our news bulletin. Stay tuned to Radio Algeria International.
Welcome to your weekly program Destination Algeria. I'm Jamal Simeni. There are a number of great destinations in Algeria just waiting to be discovered. A curious mixture of cultures and influences. Algeria has something interesting to see in just about every city. The country is also the first largest on the African continent, so you can be sure that there are plenty of towns and cities to visit. Let's visit Algeria's fascinating destinations, you and I together. Today is a special program where we are going to visit the Grand Mosque of Algiers. At present, the world's third largest mosque is erected in the Bay of Algiers. The mosque brings together various cultural and religious facilities. All main buildings in the mosque complex share a plinth that is in places up to 5 meters high. On this raised plateau, they are aligned from west to east in the direction of Mecca. Within the complex, they form two groups. In the west, the place for contemplation, with entrance arcades, cultural center, and minaret. And in the east, the place for congregation for up to 35,000 faithful. A spacious park leads from the mosque complex to the buildings in the south, namely the cultural center, the library, and the Imam School. The 265-meter height of the minaret and the length of the entire complex create a strong presence in the urban context over a wide area. Located only 6 kilometers east of the historical town center and not far from the airport, the mosque, hosting up to 120,000 visitors a day, will encourage the future development of the adjacent district of the city. The mosque complex is linked to the buildings in the south, namely the cultural center, the library, and the Imam School, by a spacious park. This landscaped outdoor area can house a large number of people and also offers a haven of tranquility. Through their alignment and height, the mosque ancillary buildings reference the adjoining residential buildings to the south. In the way they are configured, they serve as a buffer zone between the city and the mosque park. The prayer hall, or salle de prière, is a massive cube towering up to 45 meters and able to take up to 35,000 people. The interior, with its choice materials, restrained ornamentation, and indirect natural light, creates an impressive spatial experience. All the traditional religious elements, such as the Qibla wall, the mihrab, minbar, and Dika, are integrated into a whole of modern aesthetics. Daylight from above steeps the hall in continually changing patterns of light and shadow. The interplay of light and shadow is creating a space with a sacred, if not mystical, character. The minaret rises up to some 265 meters and is thus on the same scale as major skyscrapers. It is the highest building in Africa. The lower stories open out invitingly to the plaza and transport visitors by means panoramic elevators into those upper stories open to the public, in which the Museum of Islamic History is housed. Above it, there are 2 research areas open to academics only. The multi-layered facade is made up of an outer ornamental skin made of prefabricated, perforated facade elements that protect the glass skin behind from direct solar radiation. The 4 access routes at the tower's corners are clad in bright natural stone. The top of the minaret will be transparent. The glass will cover the viewing platforms, one for visitors, the other for VIP guests. They offer a unique view over the city and the sea. The flora columns, the leitmotif for the design throughout the edifice, are flora pillars with protruding capitals in all areas of the ensemble. The flora columns not only blend harmoniously with the local palm vegetation, but combine load-bearing properties with other technical functions. They provide a surface acoustic equipment, while also integrating ventilation and drainage. The building complex forms a successful combination of Algerian tradition and the present. The mosque brings together the cultural wealth of Islam in Algeria with German excellence in architecture and engineering. Construction site work began at the building site for the large new mosque building in March 2012. To protect the approximately 150 by 150 meter large prayer hall from earthquakes, its supports are positioned only seismic isolators. To ensure the stability of the extremely slim and 265 meter high minaret, the base of the shaft is sunk approximately 15 meter into the ground. Structural devices of this magnitude as earthquake protection are unique. The second part of our weekly program, Destination Algeria, we focus on the Jama al-Jdid Mosque. At approximately 350 years old, the Jama al-Jdid Mosque is by no means a new religious site, as the name reflects. The Jama al-Jdid Mosque was constructed in 1660 during the Ottoman period, and even though its designation changed a few times over the centuries, and reconstruction was done to suit its new purposes, the building survived the French onslaught, which saw many historic buildings destroyed. As the ruling forces changed, so did the Jama al-Jdid Mosque, and is today an interesting structure that reflects numerous architectural styles. Some of the styles that can be seen in the architecture include Byzantine, Italian, Turkish, and Andalusian. Through years of remodeling, visitors will enjoy this spectacular attraction as it is educational, interesting, and breathtakingly beautiful. There are two entrances to the Jama al-Jdid Mosque, and visitors can look forward to exploring the ramparts, domes, vaults, columns, and wood finishes that have been designed to perfection. As the mosque was forced to take on the role of various religions, new designs and additions were made to accommodate each community, and so giving the mosque its unique look and atmosphere. At certain times, the mosque does not allow non-Muslims through its doors, but when it is open to the public, visitors are advised not to let opportunity pass them by to discover this magnificent historical wonder. Every church and mosque in Algeria has a story to tell, and the Jama' Jadid Mosque is a building that holds the secrets to the past and the good fortune to still be in existence for future generations to enjoy.
Hello and welcome to this fresh edition of Inspiring Figures. Today we'll shed light on a prominent Algerian novelist and martyr of the Algerian Revolution, writer and teacher Mouloud Faraoun. His works give vivid and warm portraits of Berber life and values. Mouloud Faraoun was born on March 8, 1913, in a village in Tizi Ouzou. He is the son of a peasant farmer. He passed his young years in the Great Kabylie Mountains. His early successes at school led to a teaching degree from the École Normale at Bouzaria in the heights of Algiers. He taught for several years as a teacher, main and additional courses before being appointed inspector of social centers. Mouloud Faraoun began writing in 1939 his first novel, The Son of the Poor. The book, hailed by critics, won the Grand Prix of the city of Algiers. His works all describe Kabylie, a pleasant life. Le Fils du Pauvre, released in 1950, translated into The Poor Man's Son, is a semi-autobiographical story of an Algerian Berber youth struggling against poverty and hardship to achieve an education and self-achievement. The portrayal of the simple life in the mountains is filled with nobility, human compassion, and the love of the family and the native soil. La Terre et le Sang was then published in 1953, translated into Earth and Blood. It depicts the life of an émigré whose life in France is burdened by the sequestration of his proud countrymen and with the importance of honor, the basis of all traditional morality and the source of a sense of self-worth, dignity, pride, and community. Les Chemins qui Montent, released in 1957, translated into The Upward Roads, carries forward in more bitter tones the themes of the resignation, the resistance and endurance of the fellah or peasant. Faced with the hard realities of colonialism, it also deals with the strictures placed on the youth and narrowness of choices available to them. Faraoun's devotion to the Kabyle culture is also evident in a collection of portraits and sketches, in a translation of the 19th century Kabyle poetry, and his journal. Some of his books, written in French, have been translated into several languages, including English and German. He was assassinated by the French secret organization l'OAS on the 15th of March 1962. 7 years after the disappearance of Mouloud Faraoun, letters addressed by Albert Camus to his alter ego Kabyle were published by the French writer. Only the first response from Camus has been published. The tenuous but intense exchanges reveal that despite their divergences, the two intellectuals had a strong friendship. The letters are available on free access on the net for those who want to read them.